To most modern American, hunting is a top sport. It demands considerable intelligence as well as the physical stamina that modern man can muster. It's man's oldest and most natural sport, as mankind is primarily a meat eater. When man goes on his first hunt, he has a lot to learn, but he can expect the highest rewards in pleasure and excitement. The modern big game rifle is a precision instrument. With a little practice, it can be adapted to the individual to the point where even the beginner can soon become expert. The fine telescope sight can guarantee an accurate aim. The ultra-modern variable scope zooms to the exact magnification for the best sight picture on any game at any range. Sighting in is simple. The first shot is to the left, but right in line. A shift of sight setting, a correction of focus, and the next shot is right on. Once the shot is dead on at 200 yards, there's nothing more to worry about. The .300 Weatherby caliber combines the greatest accuracy and power of any modern weapon. In every sense of the word, the Weatherby rifle is a magnum, a lightweight rifle that delivers thousands of pounds of shocking impact out at 300 yards where it counts. A little practice makes rifle and hunter ready for the trophy head when and if it appears. The rest is hunter's luck, plus the skill of the guide and the whim of the gods. You know, it's hard to realize that just 4 hours ago, I was in a world of concrete and steel, surrounded by the pressures of advertising, promotion, sales, and distribution. In my little cubicle of an office, I might as well be orbiting in space. My communication with the outside world was almost limited to the telephone and the Daily Mail. And this is how the whole thing started, with the arrival of a letter from Idaho. It was a letter from the past, an old promise made between two war buddies. We'd sworn to have a reunion in the form of a big game hunt in Don's part of Idaho. For years, I'd been given excuses that Don couldn't understand. He enclosed a magazine clipping of a trail bike. No walking, no carrying, just like going on a picnic. He claimed the trail bike had replaced the horse and had revolutionized hunting like the Jeep changed warfare. Secretaries understand everything except that the boss is human. She was stunned, speechless, when I dumped it all in her lap. Tell everyone I have gone hunting in Idaho, and I'll be back on Monday. From the moment the door closed, I started to live. First step, the fun of buying all the equipment needed for my safari. Roy Weatherby, manufacturer and good friend, had promised me one of his deluxe rifles. A phone call, and an hour later, Roy met me at his plant and store and had my rifle waiting. He offered me all the advice he could think of, and they were wise words from one of the world's foremost big game hunters. Hunt hard, shoot straight, and lots of luck. We hope you put one in the record books. Roy turned me over to his able salesman, and I bought everything that any dude would. I was equipped for anything from jungles to mountaintop. A safari to Africa or a shikari to the Himalayas are almost as near as your local airport. Los Angeles to Idaho took 2 hours. From the city to the hunting ground was only a few minutes trip by bush plane. Transfer your gear to the pickup truck, and here we are, only minutes away from our deer camp. Next thing to learn is to ride the Honda trail bike. This is hunting lesson number 2. It's as simple as riding a bicycle, and even safer. The power is all here in this motor that you could hold in your 2 hands. As strong as 5 horses and ready for action with just the twist of your wrist. with a quick-shifting 3-speed transmission and an 82-to-1 gear ratio on the rear sprocket. You know, it's been years since I've ridden a bike, but it's something you never forget. It wasn't long until the Honda and I were talking to each other with perfect understanding. Don was right when he said that we've replaced the horse with easy-riding, two-wheeled mountain goat. With plenty of speed, she's got the surefire grip and power strong enough to climb a tree. And she can stand up on her hind legs and walk like a man. You know, Don has an easy way with a trail bike, especially on getting it loaded up. Although the Honda was ready, I didn't trust myself. We walked up together, a little safer for a dude on his first ride. The Honda packed easy. Well, she'll fit on a bumper, in a station wagon, or on a camper. Two miles out of Deer Camp, we passed a trail bike with a hardwood log twice as long and 3 times as heavy as I thought one could handle. These bikes are the best workhorses a Deer Camp ever had. Don was enthusiastic. Riding, roping, packing, or hauling, anything we need without special training. And she never bucks or complains or gets tired. She's mighty easy on the fodder. The old-timers have changed the old saying to, a man's best friend is his Honda. A Deer Camp in the wilderness is the greatest place in the world to learn to like people. You've got time to tell a story, listen to one. Out here in the big country, everything just sort of grows naturally, including the tall tales. Around the friendly campfire, the coffee tastes richer, and a venison steak sizzles with an aroma that is better than a filet mignon. In the early morning, we were the last to leave camp. We gassed up. I was willing to carry the spare, except with the 250-mile cruising range, we didn't need an extra can. Don said we could take it easy and let the others spook the game to where we could be hunting the low country. Low country. He was a typical guide. Minimum talk and maximum effort was the way these guys were raised. I found out later that there's no such thing as low country in this man's wilderness. Where the other hunters had started off to climb the ridges along the snow line, Don and I followed the valley floor, crossing and recrossing the icy streams many times. We thread our way upstream, avoiding quicksand and deep holes. You could tell he'd done this before. We never even got our ankles wet. Then we started to get into the rough country. We were headed for a 45% grade, which to me was straight up. This is what Don meant by the low country. But he was sure right when he called the Honda mountain goat. She went straight uphill for miles without even getting out of breath, even though we did have to go into second gear for some of the soft ground. From here on, I put my faith in the bike. I could never have gotten up these hills on foot. We'd been climbing for almost an hour when we heard shots a mile away. From the number of shots fired, Don figured that there was a mighty good chance that somebody had a deer or two on the ground. But 2 out of 3 was great luck and good shooting. Only Bill hadn't connected. Don't worry, he'd fill out his tag. The day was young and they'd seen lots of tracks. Even with big bucks like these, it's easy to go on hunting. Just tie them on the rack, and you can follow the hot trail without even losing stride. With Honda's low gear ratio, even the steep hills, up or down, are no problem. For us, the hunt was just beginning. Don, the scientific hunter, was cogitating the problem. He was sure that a mile north of us there were deer, and probably very fighting deer. Which way would they run? With luck, they would run towards us. Don took the chance and set out to intercept them. They'd be heading out of the country as fast as they could. Straight ahead of us was a saddle in the mountain. Don was sure they would head for the saddle. That settled it. So would we. We traveled fast. The shortest distance between 2 points means crossing a lot of tough territory. But I didn't think it would include log riding. When you're on the trail of the big ones, though, the obstacles don't count. Along the north sides of the ridges, we started to strike snow. For me, this was a new experience, and there's nothing like a stream crossing to break the ice. Riding in snow is like skiing. You learn to relax and lean into the turns, only you don't have poles in each hand to help you out. Now I wish I was a better skier. I was pretty good on the snowplow part, but not on the shalom. No Olympic race was tougher than this. And these weren't flags and bamboo poles that we were dodging either. You find it pretty tough to break a pine tree. Sometimes the safest course is right down the middle, even if it happens to be an icy river. I prefer solid quicksand to 3 feet of snow anytime. We stopped for a reconnaissance and a cool drink. You know, it's strange how dry you can get. After the country we'd been through, my mouth felt as dry as the day I gave the financial report to the board of directors after the bottom fell out of the stock market. We're in luck. The deer have just passed through. Don pointed out the tracks. They're moving fast, but I moved faster. I figured that I was going to run them to death. Hunting is usually done with a rifle in these parts, Don explained. Let's play the game, huh? Calming down from my first symptoms of the fever, I carefully checked the rifle and set the safety, determined to act more like a hunter in the future. The deer tracks led up the saddle and over, just as Don had predicted, and we would have a fast ride ahead of us if we're going to head them off. They were heading for a mountain valley that Don knew about. We've got to take a shortcut. And what he was pointing at was a drop of 1,000 feet that looked like it would take ropes to descend. One consolation, if you fell, you would land in snow. You know, these bikes are safer than skis, Don laughed. They've got brakes. "10 minutes and a lifetime later, we were at the bottom. Then we had to go up again, this time in 3-foot snow. The knack of going up snowbanks doesn't come easy. Not recommended by the manufacturer, let's say. It can be done because we did it. A mountain and a canyon later, we spotted Bill far below us. We located him by the sound of his motor. When he stopped his, so did we. He spotted something moving in the trees and stopped to investigate. His rifle was one of the old buffalo guns, as he preferred to use his collection weapons in his hunting. It was tougher that way. With years of hunting experience behind him, he was able to do the kind of stalking that was necessary. You have to be absolutely silent. A snap of a twig underfoot, and the quarry is on its way to the next county. A deer's eyesight is faultless. You have to keep plenty of vegetation between you. The deer's sense of smell is 200 times better than man's. For this reason, the tiniest hint of man's odor on the slightest breeze can spell disaster. The gods of the hunter with Bill. There'll be venison in the larder again this year. Now it's our turn. Don starts out with confidence. There are 2 herds ahead of us, and the tracks are fresh. It's as easy as predicting a dice game. Observe carefully, analyze the facts, and then use your intuition. You can't miss. Don told me later that actually he had seen a deer down below, but he didn't want to raise my spirits too high. You know, you might have got the fever again, and I wanted to build you up for the emotional shock first. When we got into position to look down into the valley, Don spotted them again. No matter how hard I looked, I couldn't see anything. But to save face, I pretended to. Don knows I can't see a thing. We picked our way hand over hand with those bikes. Wherever we could see to go, the Honda could get us there. We stopped again in some good cover. Don could see them plain as day. Even with 8-power glasses, I was blind. Oh, well, that's what a good guide's for. Lead you right to the game and then bang it on the head for you. The stalking's tough. Don't kick a rock. No talking. 600 yards to go. Don tests the wind. It's in our favor. I'm in luck. At last I see the buck. The zoom of the telescope sights makes those 300 yards seem like 50. He looks like the biggest animal I've ever seen. Steady. He moved, and he's seen us. Keep the blood pressure down. Shoot now, or he's gone. It's a real nice trophy. 4 points each side, and a perfect cape for mounting. Not the biggest deer in the world, but he's the best, your first deer. There's a lot to learn about dressing out a deer and getting him ready to pack out. He has to be strapped securely on the bike and balanced well. From here on, it's easy. 10 miles cross country. But it's easy mainly because you're happy and because the Honda takes the trail with power to spare. When the big game roundup is finished, it seems the riders all hit the corral at the same time. With a big camp as ours and as many hunters, we managed to collect over a dozen fine heads and hundreds of pounds of fine venison to serve on special occasion gourmet dinners. The trophies are photographed from every angle and then skinned out to be sent home as proof for the wild tales of the hunter. All hunters agree in the great outdoor sport of big game hunting, you get much more out of it than mere words or pictures can convey. Saying goodbye had no regrets. I was taking everything back with me. The composite memories of the most successful trip of my life, of lasting friendships made, of newfound sense of freedom, the thrill of physical struggle, and the feeling of accomplishment. No regrets here. It is easy to return, because in today's world, the modern world, the return to our happy hunting grounds is only a matter of a few hours. It's never goodbye, it's so long. I'll be seeing you. And don't forget that Honda.